Good day. My name is Brian Smith. I'm a student at Full Sail University. I'm going for my mobile gaming master's, working on my capstone project, World War I Flying Circus, where you fly for family, country, and prestige, die and be forgotten. So this is kind of this is a review of a month's worth of work. And so I've had a number of milestones that I've gone through, and I'm going to cover, some of my thoughts and some of the results of that work. But first, one of the problems I've been fighting for quite some time is some ground tearing. It's causing a gray banner or band to be across below the skybox and above the ground at a long distance. And you can see I've solved the problem through what I would call voodoo problem solving, which is back when I used to work for a large multinational corporation. If we really didn't understand the problem, but we just made a lot of changes and all of a sudden the problem seemingly went away, it'd be like casting chicken bones or giving a burnt offering to the gods, and the problem would go away, and you really don't know what's going on. But we called that voodoo problem solving. So what I did after a lot of different trial and error, and there are other messages, other emails, other videos, that detail this problem. What I did is right now this is actually running on my antique Galaxy S5, and so that's what's running over here. Yeah, there you can kind of see it. So what you see on the screen is what's on here, and the ground tearing is gone. And what I did was simply lower my biplanes, all the different aircraft, the biplanes and the balloon, from 500 meters above the ground, where you could look over the edge of the world and see this gray flat Earth artifact. And now I've pushed the biplanes down to 20 meters above the ground, and now you can't look over this false horizon. This may be my long-term solution, but I still want to try to understand the problem, rather than just doing a voodoo problem solving. So I just wanted to show and just kind of display that. So I'm going to end my end this on from a Zoom point of view over here, because it takes a lot of resources, and I'm at the edge of the internet here. All right, so we're back to Zoom, just running on my Macintosh. So what I want to cover is, I did want to cover that ground tearing. If you have other thoughts, ideas about what I can do to help solve that problem, cards and letters, let me know. I'm going to be going through the to whom processing, which is which player is actively going to be the next player who's making a move, very important for the pass and play. I'm going to be covering there was a comment from Professor Penny about not knowing how far the biplanes were from each other, and then how many hit points each would be. And so I've got an additional graphic and message to the user for that. I'll take you through that 200-meter plus the each hit point notification. Another is, if you, in World War I Flying Circus, the two biplanes are on top of each other, they were, from a 3D graphics point of view, inside of each other. And so I've got some, I don't want that to happen, of course, and I've got some collision detection and avoidance, so where one of the biplanes will fly over the others. And so I'll take you through that. I made another quality pass at the precision, or the prestige points, for all the different balloon busting, for pass and play, and for network play. And so I've got all those updated and fixed. I'm not going to take you through all the scenarios because there's just too many. Yeah, I spent some time really thinking through that. So thank you for the comments about that. They were spot on. Mentioned the ground tearing. I've got new buttons and sliders that you'll see as you're watching this video. I'm not going to specifically call them out, but take a look at those buttons and sliders, and let me know what you think about that. Related to it, I made the surrender button bigger and pulled it down from the top of the screen a little bit, so hopefully it's easier to select. And did make a big pass at performance. And thank you, Professor Penny. It was excellent advice. I should have captured performance beforehand. You measure the performance, then you worked and made all the changes, and then measure the performance again to kind of see, did I make any difference with the performance over time? So that's good advice. I'll follow that in the future. And then just FYI, just still to do, I've got some of the networking rainy day scenarios that didn't seem to work for me, but didn't work for you. So I've really got to drill down to find out what exactly is going on with that. One of the things that's with that is I settled a long time ago on using the Photon Unity network. So it's a third-party vendor for networking inside of Unity. It's the PUN, and it's the second version of that. The other is I do want to get work my way towards AI. So I've been working kind of with my skunkworks with getting Firebase and the database going there, because that's key to my AI is learning about in this relative position with the two biplanes, the human would tend to make this maneuver, and if the humans tend to make this maneuver, then I know with a computer AI that I can get around behind and follow in behind with the other maneuver. So having a database of maneuvers is important, and so I'm working on that with the AI. And one of the things that Firebase also provides is a asynchronous place so that messages, no matter where they're made in the network, I can have messages passed between devices. And I'm wondering if Firebase could also not only be that place where I keep track of all the database information about the user, their prestige points, what kind of things that they purchased, but also too keeping track of actually passing the messages for the network play. So something I still need to investigate. But the bottom line is I need to improve the rainy day processing for the networking. So that's what I'm going to cover, not in any kind of great detail, but let me just start sharing my screen here. And we're going to do just the desktop, just to be careful that we got everything here, and just show you in Unity, because the performance is too poor with any kind of device. So just fire World War I Flying Circus up in Unity. So here we are. So there's my sliders and buttons. I'm going to take you just directly to the pass and play. So here's the to whom processing. You saw that Baron von Red, his or her name slides up to that side, so you kind of know that you're playing with a pass and play. This is Baron von Red. So I'm going to have Baron von Red go at Lord Olive there, and Lord Olive is going to just do an Illman, and kind of you can see the to whom processing, I call it, inside the code. Just do an Immelman, and now you see the hits, medium range, damage 2, slides up to say, okay, now this biplane has been damaged. Lord Olive has been damaged. So it's time for Lord Olive to make another move, and it's just going to do another Immelman, pass it back to Baron von Red, slides up, same notification, because Baron von Red hasn't seen that turn, so same notification for that the 2 hit points of damage. And Baron von Red's going to go zooming in, so then we'll see how I lift up Lord Olive's biplane out of the way. And you can see the direction that Lord Olive is going, and so Baron von Red could prepare to make their next maneuver. And now we're going to pass it to Lord Olive. Lord Olive gets to see the same turn, but you notice, from these two different devices, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to see the other person's position, other person's device, or you're going to see the device, but not at the same time. What I do is I always push up the enemy's biplane above you, and so you're always looking up out of your cockpit. And so that's my collision detection. That's the indication of the distance and the hit points and the to whom processing that I'm doing with World War I Flying Circus. As I mentioned, I updated the prestige points, ground tearing. I showed you the buttons and sliders performance, and then still the networking. So still work to be done. This is obviously not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination, but I really appreciate all the thoughts and comments. And yeah, it's a in terms of a experience point of view, I love just digging down into the details, into learning new things in terms of Blender was brand new for me. Some of the other two-dimensional artwork, GIMP I had played with before, Inkscape I'm very familiar with. So some of that was not new, but I really enjoyed just sitting down and learning. That's the classic part. I've always been a lifelong learner, always wanted to do different things. Story just back to the large multinational corporation that I used to work for. About every 3 to 5 years, I always did something completely different, within the construct of the large multinational corporation, the LMC. And there were a lot of different kinds of jobs and opportunities. I was a programmer at first, and then I did technical marketing support. I wrote books. I wrote 22 technical nerdy books for a group of international an international group. I was a chief architect of IBM.com/support. I've done education. I've run brick and mortar conferences in Europe. I've been an IT estimation leader in Ireland, systems engineer. So all sorts of different roles and responsibilities. And that's what I love to do, is about every 3 to 5 years, reinvent myself, just give up what I know and just start attacking something brand new. And so I'm really looking, I really love this opportunity of doing the same kind of thing, which is attacking Unity and all the different graphics, even with all the weird things. That Unity is amazing. It's one line of code so that you're always looking at the other object. I mean, it's just incredible. You just drag your script onto the camera, and you always say, have the camera say, look at this other object. One line of code, and you're automatically following the other biplane as you're going through your different maneuvers. It's just fantastic. But when things don't seemingly work the way you think they should be working, like that ground tearing that I'm having on older devices, it can get a little frustrating, because there's, it's either some configuration thing someplace that I haven't stumbled across, or hardware. Anyway, when things go wrong, then you're not as much in control of things. So that's a little bit tough and a little bit frustrating, but I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the challenge of learning, and really stepping back and spending the time. Just the quality time. I'm a full-time student, and I'm amazed at humans who can, have a family, raising kids, have a job, and still go for their master's degree. I mean, hats off to them of being able to do that. I'm a full-time student, focusing on this, and I'm really enjoying it. So again, more, the more things that you can, ideas and things that you give me and all that, I keep track of everything. As you see, I am, a many eggs in one basket kind of individual. Keep track of everything. I don't lose anything. It's just a matter of priority and the time, to get around to doing things. So it's been great, and I'm looking forward to the last bits and pieces of this program, and hopefully can continue to work together on that. So thank you very much.